Nebraska Cornhusker fans will love to hear this. Let's talk about it. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're the Big Ten guys. All your news, insights, rumors, analysis, anything Big Ten, this is the channel for it. Aaron, tell them what to do.
All you got to do, hit that subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss out on Big Ten action as well. Hit the like button.
You might as well.
Might as well. Come on, just do it. So today what we're going to be talking about, Nebraska football and why Matt Rule, this is going to be the year for them. Before you change, before you move, just hear us out on this because this is a very, very interesting observation and we're going to dig into it. Paul, take it away, sir.
So Matt Rule has some trends in his head coaching history. If you go back to his days at Temple, you see first year 2-10. That's ugly. Second year 6-6, but year 3, 10-4.
Boom. I want to say Anthony Russo, quarterback at Temple. I only know that because, one, I love college football. Two, he transferred to Michigan State and sat the bench. But anyways, continue.
All right. Then he's ready for the big times. Goes to a Power 4 conference. He's at Baylor, takes over a nasty team, goes 1-11, then 7-6. But year 3, they go 11-3. They go to the Sugar Bowl.
Sugar Bowl. Lose it, but go there.
So, yeah, that's impressive. Now at Nebraska, year 1, that was the best year 1 he's had at any school. He had a better foundation at Nebraska than he had at either of those schools. Year 2, slightly better, and now here we are into year 3. And history suggests 10 wins.
10 wins. Now, you might start laughing, and that's fine. And if you've watched our prior video on Nebraska, which if you have not, we will link at the end of this episode. But we're pretty high. We're pretty bullish on Nebraska football right now. They have a lot of good things going for them. Specifically with Matt Rule, though, when we look at every program he's been a part of, but and I'll say this, ignore the Panthers. Ignore that team. Because how many times has a college coach gone to the NFL, not been successful, then gone back? Let's all remember Nick Saban. Nick Saban went to the Dolphins. He wanted to get the nice, Miami, Florida, hat where he could wear in the sun and all that fun stuff. And that was probably the only good thing that happened to him in Florida because then he pieced out, left, went to Alabama, created a dynasty.
Yeah, not everybody's Jim Harbaugh and can just interchange between the NFL and NCAA.
Okay, buddy. I will say again, if this is your first time, Paul, Michigan fan, myself, Michigan State fan. Now, the big thing for Matt Rule, though, that he's developing over these years, like he did at Temple and Baylor, is let's think about it. Recruiting better. He's bringing in more recruits. A big thing Scott Frost did not do was develop players. That was very obvious to see, even not as Nebraska fans. On top of that, the culture that he's bringing in, really bringing that true Nebraska football culture back is huge. And then on top of that, it's just the consistency with all those different things. I have a buddy who's a Nebraska fan that was telling me how he works with specialty players, how they do practice. It's much different and much more dedicated from the coaching staff where they're going in and they're even getting time with second, third, fourth string guys so they can get the reps. It's pretty crazy. And so I know some people that aren't Nebraska fans might watch this and say, Aaron, Paul, really? Third year? You really think it's going to take off? Listen, look at the talent they have on that team. Look at the coaching staff. Look at the schedule. Stars are aligning. I truly think so.
And if you look at Nebraska last year, there were some ugly games, but I remember they almost beat Ohio State. I think that was in Columbus. They showed last year they can compete with the big dogs. And I think the best argument against them is probably this is the Big Ten now. It's tougher to do this in the Big Ten than it is at a Baylor or a Temple. But he didn't have Dylan Raiola at either of those schools.
Nope.
He has never had a quarterback talent like he has now. If there's anything that can really push you to the next level in college or in the NFL, it's the quarterback position. Dylan Raiola is certainly capable of that. I've been hearing good things coming out of camp. And I think we're primed for a year 3 jump.
I think people will be surprised. He had Andy Dalton for the Panthers, didn't he?
Andy Dalton is no Dylan Raiola.
It was a joke. It was a joke. The Red Rocket, baby. But
the Red Rifle.
Red Rifle, Rocket, whatever. Same thing. Golly.
Those are two
TCU
very different things.
Here's the other thing, too, about Nebraska that's interesting. I think in Paul, both not Nebraska fans, but when Nebraska made it into the Big Ten, when they left the Big 12, I think a lot of people had high hopes for them because they literally were just off making the Big 12 championship game. Mm-hmm. And Ndamukong Suh had a crazy game. And I'm thinking, oh, Nebraska is going to easily take the West. I guess back then it would have been the Leaders and Legends.
Oh,
yeah.
R.I.P. to the Leaders and Legends.
I actually didn't mind that. But anyways, they just have never gotten to that point. But I think now, again, under a coach that is consistent, that is organized, that is incredibly disciplined like Matt Rule, he has shown a track record of it. Buckle up. I think you're going to be surprised. Maybe you're not, but I think you will be.
And let's hear from you guys, Nebraska fans. Do you think 10 wins is crazy? Do you think 8 or 9 is more realistic? We'd love to see your predictions in the comments on what you think is going to happen this year.
Comment below. Next up, we're looking at your boy Scott Frost. We're talking about the current head coach, former head coach. Now, before you go, I just thought this was hilarious to bring up because Scott Frost saying, quote, "It wasn't a good move, blaming quality of job over performance." Now, I want to say a couple things. And Paul, hold me back if I'm getting a little too intense on this. Again, I'm not attacking Scott Frost as a person. I'm not doing that at all. But I think to say, hey, it wasn't a good move, and then starting to point the finger at the people who just let you go and then gave you, I believe they paid him a $16 million buyout.
Yeah.
Like, I would not say a word. When Ed Orgeron, he wasn't fired, but when he was let go, I believe they bought him out. And I want to say it was around that range. He literally looked at him and said, "Where's the door? I will leave now." Now, obviously, he won a national championship. He had one of the best teams at LSU, one of the best college football teams probably ever.
Yeah.
It was an unreal team. But, Scott Frost, man, just zip your lip and move on. Big reasons he was fired from there, super obvious. Right here I have written down, lost 22 one-score games. I was at one of those games at Michigan State back in the day. It was ugly. Jaden Reed returned a punt. I was in the end zone, saw it. It was miserable. You could see Scott Frost on the sideline literally going berserk.
There was that one year they went like 3-9, but had a winning margin on the year.
That was 2021.
Yeah,
that was the year.
Absurd.
That was the best 3-9 team I've ever seen in my life.
They outscored their opponents, but were like beneath Rutgers in the Big. It was crazy.
beneath Rutgers in the Big Ten. It was rough. No player development. Obviously, Matt Rule, that's something he's doing. Scott Frost did not. Never got better. Lost in-state talent. I think that's one of the biggest things. I have a buddy who's from Nebraska. We have a buddy from Nebraska. And he said, listen, he wasn't even getting those guys. Those guys were going, greener pastures, whether that was Oregon or a school in Texas, whatever it might be. And then ultimately the demise, when you're not winning games, what happens? Bad culture if you're not reining it in. And if you really look at it, sorry. I told you I'd go off the rails for a minute.
You're good.
When he was at UCF, he was there for 2 years. That was his head coaching experience. He went 6-7, and then on the coattails of Mackenzie Milton, who was a great quarterback at UCF, they went 13-0, and they claimed a national championship. So, sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. No, I'm going to laugh at that. That was funny.
Yeah, it was fun.
But I think it was just one of those things where you fell into, oh my gosh, Scott Frost, he's hot right now. He's from Nebraska. Things are looking good. And in all reality, it was like, I don't think he was ready for the big stage.
No. And going back to what you said about bad culture, like, what does this interview tell you about Scott Frost? I think if you go to the exact quote, he is asked what he learned from his time at Nebraska. And he just said, don't take the wrong job.
Yeah, don't take it. There it is.
What does that tell his players at Nebraska, at UCF, about his own personal accountability? Like, if he can't even see that he made mistakes and that he didn't do the right things to get, like, if he elaborated and said, don't take a job you're not ready for, I wasn't ready for it, I messed up, like, show some accountability. If the coach isn't giving that, the players aren't going to give that. That's where the bad culture comes from. I think he told a lot about himself, and I'm sure a lot of you Nebraska fans feel the same way about him.
Yeah, and I do not, and I was telling this to Paul earlier, I do not think his second stint at UFC in a harder conference in the Big 12, I don't think it's going to go as well as his first stint there. And as well, being a man, own up to your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Simple as that.
It's not that hard. So anyways, Nebraska fans, what do you think? What are you thinking record-wise for the Cornhuskers? What do you think about Matt Rule? And
share your thoughts about Scott Frost. We'd love to hear all of it in the comments.
All of it would, yeah. What do you think? Here we go. Scott Frost, year one at UCF, the Golden Knights. What do you think his record is? What do you think Matt Rule's record is, third year at Nebraska? Comment below. You guys rock. Paul, tell them what to do on the way out.
Hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit the alerts. We got a lot of good things coming.
We'll talk later. Peace.
See ya.